Welcome, Courtney, to Getting Her Chest, the podcast. I'm Jo Del Rey, and I have a beautiful, courageous woman with me today, and her name is Courtney Lee Pitcher. Courtney was diagnosed last year, a week after her 30th birthday, in February, with an aggressive invasive ductal carcinoma of the left breast sitting over her heart, and the cells also detected in the surrounding lymph and blood vessels. So a bit of a shock, and I guess, you know, having been on the cancer journey myself, when you and I met, it was kind of like an instant connection, and I think that's generally the way, isn't it? When you meet people that are on the cancer journey, you have this immediate bond because you understand what it means to get a diagnosis.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know it's pretty tough, but talk me through what you experienced when you got that diagnosis.
Yeah, well, it happened really quickly. So within 3 days of finding the lump, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Basically, I was getting ready for bed one night, and as I lay down, I sort of found this lump on my chest, and I thought, oh, that's a bit strange. And I didn't really think it would be cancer. I mean, I was 30, and I think to some degree we all kind of think we're a little bit invincible to that kind of thing. But I did get it checked out, and yeah, the doctor wasn't worried at all. It was a pretty large lump, so it was about the size of a 20-cent piece. And yeah, from everything I'd heard, generally you're looking for smaller lumps around the breast. And yeah, so I had a scan, then a biopsy, and the day after I was phoned in and asked to bring a support person, which became pretty evident that something was wrong. And yeah, I was given a referral to a breast surgeon, a specialist, to start the next leg of the journey. So,
And they really hurry that along, don't they?
absolutely. I had less than 2 weeks to really decide whether I was going to have a double mastectomy or a lumpectomy or one breast removed. Yeah, it was incredibly fast process, and yeah.
So how did you feel?
Very
What
scary.
was, yeah, and
I was going through panic attacks. Yeah, constantly. It's almost like with the cancer diagnosis, I felt like my life was already over. Yeah, it was very consuming, very fear. Yeah, I was just filled with fear. I have a little boy who was 11 at the time, and, you know, oh my God, I'm a single mum. What's going to happen to my son?
yeah.
You know, so much was running through my mind, and yeah, I was just struggling moment to moment to try and keep my heart rate down and try and, yeah, not to allow myself to get sucked into that black pit.
Yes. And I guess too, that word aggressive doesn't help either, does it? And they seem to like hone in on that. It's very aggressive. You're going to have to act quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So where did it take you from there? Give me a snapshot of what you went through, and what was kind of, were you getting sort of signs, or were you having any knowings at that time that this doesn't feel right, that they're forcing me to do this stuff? Like, did you have any kind of questions around their procedures as to what your instincts were probably telling you?
At the time, there was a lot of information coming at me. So I was trying to digest the information in front of me. I wasn't really that skeptical of the mainstream medical system at that point, but I also did have a strong foundation of natural health under my belt, because I had experienced autoimmune disease in 7 years prior, and so I'd already began a bit of a health journey.
Yeah.
So I wasn't feeling very good about the idea of chemotherapy. I knew that was going to be a hard one for me to into. So really, for the first 2 weeks, it was just, what am I going to do with the surgery? You know, what am I going to choose here? I had some angel cards, so they were a huge support. I did a lot of prayer. I'm not a religious person as such, but I do believe in a higher power, and so just praying and asking for support, and that I found that helped me a lot. I really didn't make a decision about the surgery until the very last moment. That I think it was like with 1 day to spare, sort of going into the office before giving my answer to the surgeon what it was that I was going to do. And I did decide to have a lumpectomy and a natural reconstruction, because the lump was so large. They removed around a third of my breast, and they were able to take some muscle tissue from my back and sort of reconstruct the breast so that they both were symmetrical.
Yeah. Nice. So when was the turning point for you that you decided, I want to do it my way? I'm going to do it holistically. I'm going to try other avenues. What was the defining moment?
I think I had always gone into it knowing that I wasn't comfortable with chemotherapy. My immune system was already not in a great place, and I had an inner knowing or feeling that the chemotherapy would take my life. So it was just strong deterrence for me to not go down that route. But I sort of had a foot in each door for the first year. So I was trying to do both. There was a turning point with the second bout. I found some inflamed lymph nodes under the left arm, which they did a biopsy and confirmed there was the cancer was in that area as well. So they wanted to dissect the left underarm, which I felt really uncomfortable with. That was really scary for me, the thought of having a whole portion of my lymphatic system removed, because I knew that the lymphatic system was like the sewers of the body. So if that was removed, how was the dead cellular waste from that left side of my chest and area
absolutely
out?
I had the same thing, because they wanted to take, I had a double mastectomy, and they wanted to take I don't know what, I think it was like 17 or whatever from under each arm or something, and I just said, you can have 4 from the side where the cancer is, thanks. You can just check what's going on there, because I didn't know a lot about the lymphatic system. That was purely my instinctual. No, I don't think so. But, later on down the track, I realised, oh, wow, I just knew that was just not right. So it's good that we can take control of those sort of situations. And, if we feel very strongly about something, that we actually can have a voice and say, actually, no, this is not what I want you to do. I want you to do this. Whereas some people feel, I think, when they're in the medical system, that they don't have a choice and they can't. Some people get very railroaded into decisions, and they put so much fear into you that there's people having operations, I believe, that don't necessarily need them. The body's a very, very powerful and amazing healer in itself. If we heal the stuff that we need to heal. So talk to me about the healing journey. So we've got the diagnosis. You're in a pretty bad way. Your head's going, what the hell am I going to do? You've got 2 feet in each camp, doing a bit of both. What is it that's kind of given you the strength and courage to kind of go your way and decide, this is the way I want to go? What are the things that you're doing, and what makes you feel like, confident in your direction?
Well, I did have a PET scan earlier this year, which showed that there was active cells, cancerous cells in the lymph under the left collarbone as well. That was, it would have been inoperable anyway. So that was, to me, was like, well, I'm not going to have a dissection under my arm if they can't get all of it anyway. So that was almost like a godsend for me. It took that really hard decision. I didn't have to make that decision anymore. It was really clear I wasn't going to have any more surgery. There was nothing left for me in the mainstream medical system other than fear. And I just felt like I was butting heads, and so I turned my back on the medical system after that last PET scan, and realized, I don't want to be going down this road anymore. And it was kind of empowering, actually. It was really empowering, because it was scary, because it meant that I had to have my own back. But it was really empowering, because it was like, okay, I can do this, and I am going to do this. So it's really funny. I came full circle. When I was first diagnosed, I wanted to do water fasting. Instinctively, that's the path I wanted to take, but I didn't feel like I had the willpower to do it. I did a little bit of fasting, and then I broke it. But this time around, I decided to do some extreme fasting, some prolonged fasting. So I did a 40-day fast. And,
so that's 20 days juicing, 20 days water, right? Yeah. Intense.
It was huge. Yeah.
Not only on a physical level, but emotionally and spiritually, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of surrender, a lot of stripping back. It was like peeling the layers of, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical rubbish that I'd been carrying around since childhood, probably past lives.
Yeah. Did you find that with the fasting, it was a quick road to dealing with all the stuff? How some people really, well, I've have experienced this in the people that I've met during this cancer journey. A lot of people really focus on just the physical and not the emotional and the spiritual side of things. So how important do you think the three are?
Yeah, that's been a really big journey for me, because I've been so deeply engrossed in diet and nutrition and healing via food and whole foods.
Yes, which is important.
It is important, but really the healing power for me was the spiritual and emotional aspects of it, rather than the food. Same with me.
And so just going back to the fasting, have you had results after that? Have you experienced any great changes? Like what have the changes been that have been most beneficial to you?
Well, the lymph nodes under the arm I could feel them with my hands, so I was able to self-assess. Some of the lymph nodes were around the size of golf balls. They were pretty big. Like,
Wow.
there was clusters of lymph nodes under that left arm.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting a little bit down actually with the fasting at one point. It was in the last couple of weeks because I could still feel the lymph nodes, and I thought, oh, you know, how come they're not going down? Are they? Yeah. Is it not working? And in that last few days of my water fast, they just golf balls to the size of tiny little marbles. And then, yeah, and then weeks after that, they shrunk even more when I was refeeding my body. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I feel that the body, it takes time. You know, we've got to be patient with the body. We've got to allow it to process. I feel that with the emotional cleansing and journey, because I've done my own water fast, not as long as you. I did 10 days. But I felt that my kind of knowing through that, or my connection to myself through the fasting, was that when you heal the emotional, the body will follow. But it might take the body a little while. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been a really stressed out person throughout my life. Like, I've held a lot of tension in my body, which when you're holding everything so tightly, it blocks the flow of that physical energy. All the pathways, like, our body is made up of tubes, basically. But when we're blocking that pathway, I think that's when disease can manifest. And so I'm learning to breathe still.
And it's a journey.
Pathways.
Yeah. I find that, you know, you did the 40-day fast, you did 20 days juice, you did 20 days water. Like, I remember being on my 7th day of water or something, going, fuck, I don't know if I can do this. And I always remembered you, you know, like, and you were away doing, after you did that, you went and did a 10-day Vipassana. So while I was doing my water fast, you were like omming, you know, meditating chronically. And I was just thinking of you like, oh, if Courtney can do it, I can do it, you know. So you were there with me, but you were on another plane. So, I mean, you're really diving deep into this. Now you're doing Vipassana, you're doing another 10 days very shortly. Tell me about what meditation has done for you on your healing journey.
Vipassana has been an incredible journey for me. It really has. Controlling my mind, because I've been quite an analytical person, a worrier, stressed about everything. So,
not alone in this world. I think a lot of us out there are. But
look, it's just, that's a part of the puzzle for me, is learning to master my mind and actually control my mind rather than my mind controlling me. It's a very, very peaceful environment to be on a Vipassana. So you're surrounded with nature. It's a very supportive environment. You know, if being a single mum, you'd know what it would be like to have your meals cooked for 10 days.
I remember when I did it in the Blue Mountains, I loved the food. I couldn't wait. I mean, you only got 2 meals a day, but like, they were the best meals, vegetarian, absolutely. I lived for those moments. Those food. Yeah. And it's wonderful. You really feel nurtured, yeah?
I really did feel nurtured. And on my last Vipassana, on the 8th day, I wasn't ready to leave. Like, I knew that I was just scratching the surface, and really, it's like having an operation on your brain, you know, removing all of the old waste, you know, those toxic thoughts and misery. Yeah, so I found it really powerful that I decided to do a sit-serve program there for the rest of the year. And yeah, I'm very excited because throughout this journey, I already feel like a different person. Like, I'm not the same person I was. And yeah, I've changed for the better. Like, I'm unearthing.
Like, cancer is a blessing in so many ways.
Yeah.
I find it too. It's like a real kick up the arse, isn't it? It's like there's no excuse.
Yep. It's like an expressway to your higher evolution.
It really is. And whether, you know, I mean, it's a really tough conversation. There's so much fear around it. But, you know, I think you and I, like, because of where we've been with it, my hope is, and I know yours is too, that you can help people with lessening the anxiety and the fear, and helping people take their power back, saying that they can actually do something about it. They're not at the mercy of the medical institution, which really only has a couple of options, and they're not really safe options.
Look, and there's, I'm not fully against chemotherapy myself. I knew that it wasn't for me, but I believe that there's many roads to Rome. There's many paths to healing, and it really depends on each individual person and what their needs are at that time and what makes them tick, what their belief system is. Because if your mind, you know, believes that, you would know this more than anyone, like, you've inspired me so much with your mindset towards cancer. If you believe that something is going to heal you, you know, that's a biggest part of the battle.
It is the belief. You know, sometimes people get told they have 3 months to live, and on the day, you know, you've heard the stories yourself, on the day 3 months later that person's gone. So, you know, if they told me back in 2015, they said you have between 6 and 12 months, if I'd taken that on, well, I wouldn't be here right now talking to Courtney Lee Pitcher, would I? So I just kind of went like that. And went my way. Not to say that it was an easy journey either, as it's not. It's pretty relentless, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Personally, I wouldn't let them give me a time frame. They told me that it was stage 3-4, so it hadn't spread to the bone or organs yet, but it was pretty far through the lymphatic system and chest wall. So that was enough for me. I was like, okay, yep, I don't want to hear anymore, because I didn't want to be put in that box that I have to try and fight my way out of.
Absolutely. And what do you think, what has it taught you about yourself?
Oh, so much. Oh my goodness. So much. It's brought me back to love for self. Like, that's probably the biggest part of my healing journey, is learning to love myself. And my family. It's not just me that's healed. It's my mum. It's my sisters.
Yes.
It's
You've had an amazing healing journey with your mum, haven't you? Which is really powerful. Yeah. Which may not have happened if you hadn't gone down this health journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a relationship that I couldn't have dreamed that we would have had before the cancer, to be honest. So it's
beautiful. It's very healing. And I guess also, I would imagine too, because I've been there myself, you realise how resilient, how powerful you are, how much courage you have, you know, and I know that, you know, you and I have discussed this. There are days where we did not want to be here. There are days when we wanted to opt out. I haven't got the energy to do this anymore. But we woke up the next day and we just kept going. So, you know, I think it does take courage, and you know, it's lovely to see, you know, somebody you know, going through the same journey, and you know, it's like you're a mirror to me. And if I have my days, you know, I just look at you and just go, no, I mean, she did 40 days. I just still can't believe you did that, because it's just such, just going through 10 days it's like a marathon.
Yeah.
It's a real head thing too, isn't it? It really, your mind, your body, your emotions, everything is.
Yeah, it was definitely a journey. Well, 6 weeks of your life, like not consuming food, and yeah, you don't realize how much you emotionally eat, or cover up things by making yourself a cup of warm, nurturing tea, or, you know, having lunch or something like that. It really does cover up a lot of emotions. So all of a sudden everything's coming to the surface, which is scary and overwhelming, but it's incredible, because as it comes to the surface, you can clear it out, you can wash it away.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was very supported on my fast as well. So
yes, you need that, don't you? You're doing something like that intense. You need that. Yeah. And so where to now, Miss Courtney Lee Pitcher? What's the future hold? I mean, you live in the present, but what do you see yourself? And I'm sure you have dreams and desires and things that have come to the surface. What are they?
At the moment, I am still really taking one day at a time, moment by moment. I'm still sort of navigating a few storms here and there, as I am still healing my heart, still healing myself mentally, emotionally. But yeah, I am sitting Vipassana again another few times before the end of the year. And I'm really excited for that experience process, and hopefully I can go on to share my story and inspire others, to give hope that there is another way. And cancer is not a death sentence.
Correct. I agree wholeheartedly with you. I just thank you so much for being with me today and sharing a bit of yourself and your courage and your light and your loving heart. And this is just the beginning. And I love being your sister in this journey and supporting one another. You're a true treasure. And it's just I look forward to seeing what comes of your journey beyond this. But I totally wholeheartedly agree with you. Live in the moment, and that's the power in the now. Hey,
absolutely. And thank you for being such an inspiration and creating this platform where you can inspire and help other women that are going through, and men that are going through hard times.
Yeah, absolutely. Aho. High five, sister. I'll see you on the flip. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Love you.